Good morning and welcome to Sports Shorts Daily on Friday the 13th. Hey, don't fret, you got another Friday the 13th next month. I'm Tommy Krysan, glad to be here, glad to have you there. We hope to be joined by Ronnie Rantz, who I knew had a plane flight earlier this morning. Maybe there's a situation with that. He'll jump in if and when he can. It is opening day for Division I college baseball. Junior colleges, Division II, everybody else been playing. We know that. Baton Rouge Community College and everybody else has been playing. So it opens today, D1 across the country. It's an exciting day, exciting time. And of course, the LSU Tigers, ranked number 1 or 2 in all of the polls, open up at home against the Milwaukee Panthers. The Milwaukee Panthers, not the Milwaukee Brewers, as someone suggested to me last night. But anyway, the Milwaukee Panthers, and that's a 2 o'clock first pitch today at the box, Saturday and Sunday, 1 o'clock. LSU has a 3 o'clock game Monday at home against Kent State. Kent State is in Hammond this weekend playing the Lions of Coach Bobby Barbier, a Friday, Saturday, Sunday series. So we'll get a little take on Kent State before they get here Monday. So it's an exciting time. Jay Johnson has announced the weekend rotation for the opening weekend. Kason Evans will go today. Tomorrow, Cooper Moore. Sunday, William Schmidt. That's the 3 pitchers announced for the weekend at this point. I'm guessing there's some kind of pitch count, some kind of limit or whatever, with it being February 13th and a long season to go for college baseball. So we'll keep an eye on that. Should be a packed house. There's a fan fest, everything going on at Alec Box Stadium, Skip Bertman Field. I'm sure Coach Bertman will be in attendance to check out the 2026 edition of Jay Johnson's LSU Tigers. Will be in the hunt there. Now, don't forget, if you got to do some Valentine's Day stuff, that's tomorrow. Hopefully, if you're somebody that needs to do something, you've done it. You can get boiled crawfish here tomorrow at 3 o'clock. They'll come out here at Tremonti's, Jefferson Highway, Baton Rouge. You can reserve live crawfish, reserve only. Walk in, ask for something, they might be out. Call today to reserve your live crawfish from Tremonti's and anything else you need for the Valentine's weekend. You see all the wine behind me, the steaks, the seafood, the side dishes, the liquor. It's all here at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood. Hopefully you can check that out. And of course, over at Court Street Cafe in Port Allen, steak night Saturday if you want to do the Valentine's thing at Court Street Cafe in Port Allen. Steak night Saturday. We remind you, Sports Shorts Radio, live Saturday morning, tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. to 12 noon, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, as well as ESPN Southwest Louisiana, covering the Lafayette and Lake Charles markets. We cover all markets because it's on the app. We'll be live from the walk-ons in Bruley tomorrow. That's right, Valentine's Day live, walk-ons Bruley. They open the doors at 11. Come on in. Next Saturday, the 21st, we'll be back over at BRQ Seafood on Jefferson Highway in Baton Rouge. Don't forget Sports Shorts Radio tomorrow morning. All right, let's see what else we got coming up. LSU women's basketball, a 2.5-point favorite against South Carolina. That's tomorrow night in the PMAC. South Carolina 10-1 in league play. LSU 8-3. That'll be a big matchup, D-top matchup, women's basketball across the nation tomorrow. The men are in Knoxville to take on Tennessee Saturday afternoon, 5 o'clock game. Pelicans. I won my Pelicans bet, the last one before the All-Star break. They don't play for like a week. 2 games under 500 on the Pelicans annual bet. So the NBA All-Star game, I don't even know what's going on. I don't care. I'm not a big NBA guy. We do the Pelicans thing for you. The PGA Tour, Sam Burns, former LSU golfer with a 9 under par 63. Second place, Chris Gotterup, who's won twice, 2 of his last 3 starts, also near the top of the leaderboard, playing out at Pebble Beach, Spyglass, and what a beautiful golf course is out there. I got to try to get out there and play Pebble Beach. I've never done that. So the PGA Tour is rolling right there. Ole Miss football, Trinidad Shambliss, the quarterback, he's been given a 6th year of eligibility, a court injunction somewhere in Mississippi that makes him eligible pending the NCAA hearing, which won't be to the spring. So guess what? He plays for the Ole Miss Rebels. That affects the Ole Miss Rebels significantly. The SEC, the Heisman Trophy race, Trinidad Shambliss given his 6th year. Now, you want to hear this, too, because I saw this the other day, and I looked it up this morning. There's a player, a linebacker from Montana, who's been given his ninth year of eligibility. Nine. See, nine. That's crazy, huh? This guy was playing college football before COVID. Let that sink in. We all know COVID's behind us, thank goodness. But we all were affected by it. But this kid was playing college football before COVID hit, and he's still playing college football. Let that sink in for just a minute or two. All right, like I said, LSU baseball gets going. The lineup, Jay Johnson. I'm just going to say it. They're probably going to 10-run rule. I'm going to assume the 10-run rule will be in effect. If both coaches agree to that before the game, they'll do it. So I'm thinking it'll be in effect. They should announce that. Uh, if you're at the box, you'll know whether or not that's in effect. But expect to see a lot of guys get into all three games. Actually, it's a 5-game homestand because I said they play Kent State Monday at 3, and they play Nichols next Wednesday afternoon. The Colonels and Coach Herring coming to Baton Rouge. So it's a 5-game homestand beginning today with the Milwaukee Panthers, not the Milwaukee Brewers, the Milwaukee Panthers. I think LSU is going to roll in all three games. Could 10-run rule them in all three games. You get a lot of guys going to throw a lot of pitches. You can get some at bats. You're going to get some defensive substitutions. We'll see how Jay Johnson and his staff let it roll. Starting at 2:00 today. I'm trying to get out to the box, but I'm not 100% sure that I'm going to be able to get to the box, but I'm going to try to get there. Ronnie, the frequent flyer, Miles Sky, how are you?
Good, brother. Good. Just made it back from the National College Baseball World Series in Overland, right across right across from Kansas City. Great event. I was there as a guest of Lori Burtman, who is, on the Skip Burtman's daughter, is one of the board members for the, Hall of Fame, and also Tom, their CEO. And I was representing the Skip Burtman Award, which was given out last night to Brad Neffendorf, the head coach for LSU Shreveport. He won it from 2025. I mean, of course, 59-0 and national record and national championship and NAIA. But it was interesting. It was a who's who, Tommy, of college baseball, man. They had Ray Tanner was there, the former South Carolina head coach who won 2 College World Series. He got inducted, and now he's the athletic director emeritus. Paul Maneri actually sent in a congratulatory video for him. You also had Coach Corbin, Tim Corbin at Vanderbilt was there because David Price, his superstar lefty pitcher, was getting inducted. David Price, of course, I guess their version of Ben McDonald, and he even he didn't say Ben McDonald's name, but he said that he was the difference of that program. He took them to another level. And just like Ben McDonald was the greatest pitcher at LSU at the time, back in 1989, and it drew attention and took LSU to another level on the national map, David Price did that for Vandy. And so Mark McGuire got inducted, got a chance to meet him, talk to him. Just it was amazing, Tommy. Lots and lots of folks, including Paul Gillier, who got inducted, a New Orleans umpire who you played with in college. He got inducted last night.
One big difference between David Price and Ben McDonald. Do you know the one major difference? David Price, Ben McDonald. There's a major difference between
neither
those
one
two
won a
guys.
national championship, so no. What is it?
Okay, the only difference is David Price allowed to hit the Buzzy Hydell. Big Buzzy never got a hit off of Big Ben. Okay, that I know of. So there's the difference. The Buzz man.
Well, I tell you what, Tommy, that is substantial. That is a substantial deal. And Ben was there. Speaking of Ben McDonald, Ben was there. Ben actually introduced Scott Boras, the number one sports agent in the game. He got inducted. Boras, I didn't know this about him. He played baseball at the University of Pacific in the early 70s, was in their Hall of Fame, was a good player at an All-American season in their level one year. Hit a little career average of about 300. And he got honored. And of course, Scott Boras, there's two agents that everybody knows, and maybe not everybody if you're young, meaning like if you're under the age of 40. If you're over the age of 40, Lee Steinberg and Scott Boras. Those are the two guys on the Mount Rushmore. I'm not sure who else would be on there, but Scott Boras and Lee Steinberg. Lee Steinberg's the movie Jerry Maguire, based off him ish. Not a true story, but Lee Steinberg advised on the movie and all that kind of stuff.
Well, Ronnie, one thing before we get to some LSU baseball, what we've been doing lately on Sports Shorts Daily is we put up some clips, some shorts later in the day. And we put up the short, I put up the short of you driving off at Chick-fil-A without getting your order. You got your drink and then you roll. It's over 600 views and counting. People that are watching your story about the Chick-fil-A, and you paid your money, you got your drink, you drove off before getting your little brown bag.
Unbelievable, Tommy. Not the first time that's probably happened in my life. I do feel like I did that once before years ago. But yeah, and so look, the worst part is that, I was sitting there bragging, thinking, this is a good deal. $7.98 for this meal, with Chick-fil-A and got the extra cheese, everything. Like, man, what a good value. And so then I had to go buy it again down the road. So it ended up being not such a good deal. Yeah.
All right, Rowdy. LSU opens up 3 o'clock today, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock today, too.
Mhm.
1 o'clock Saturday, 1 o'clock Sunday. Milwaukee Panthers. The box is going to be packed. They got a fan fest thing. There's going to be a lot of people out there. We get the unveiling of the Jay Johnson's 2026 Tigers. What are you looking to see? He's announced the starting rotation for the weekend. Kason Evans today, Cooper Moore tomorrow, William Schmidt Sunday. He has announced those three as the three starters for the opening weekend. I'm guessing they're all on a pitch count, but what do you expect to see with this new version of LSU baseball?
Well, I mean, obviously, what I'm looking forward to seeing is who plays third, who plays second, um, and York, the big first baseman that has a 3 bills number in front of it. Those are the three new faces, right? That are in the position players. I'm looking to just see the new faces. We know what the outfield's going to be great. We know Milam's great. We know we're familiar with Aaron Beatty, and we know he's gotten better behind the plate. We know Kason Evans can get it done. Although Kason Evans is he reminds me of like a Lewis Coleman, who pitched in '08 and '09 and led LSU to the World Series in '09, championship in '09, went to the World Series in '08. But Lewis Coleman had the ability to close, relieve, middle relieve. Like, he was versatile, could do it all, start, whatever. And to me, Kason Evans is like that. I truly believe Kason Evans is probably going to be a reliever in the major leagues. But he may be a starter in college just because he's one of your best pitchers, and you want your best pitcher to pitch. You don't want to worry about what he's going to do when he's 26. You want to worry about what he's going to do now at 20. So Kason Evans is just like that Swiss Army knife. Well, he might be more like that knife from down under, the big giant Australian knife from Crocodile Dundee. He can do it all though, and so we know what we're going to get in Kason Evans. I'm really looking forward to William Schmidt on Sunday. I hear he's made a big step forward, super consistent. The velocities touched 98. The right-hander from Catholic High. The breaking ball is outstanding. I just think another year older, mature, physically, everything. I really look to see William Schmidt pop this year. But position player wise, first, second, and third, I'll be watching that.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. I'm looking forward to Aaron Beatty polishing it up behind the plate a little bit. He had a tremendous fall, so we'll see. I mean, it's baseball's here for all Division One teams, and I pointed out, Ronnie, before you jumped on. Monday at 3 o'clock, LSU plays Kent State. Kent State's in Hammond playing Southeastern all weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday series. So you better get a little knowledge on Kent State if you jump over to that box score or pop that stream on real quick. LSU baseball's here. And of course, today is Friday the 13th. Some people worry about that, some don't. Next month, there's another Friday the 13th. That's just the way the calendar falls. And then, of course, Valentine's Day tomorrow. So it's going to be a heck of a weekend. Starting with LSU baseball, the women's basketball game tomorrow night against South Carolina. By the way, Moki's Tigers are a 2.5 point favorite in that game.
That's surprising. The weather is expected to rain tomorrow, so I think that's going to make today's crowd even bigger because between Spanish Town and rain, you're probably not going to have as big a Saturday crowd, and you're playing the Milwaukee Panthers, which kudos to you for knowing what the mascot is. And then
I had to look it
Sunday,
up. I got full
yeah,
disclosure. I had to look it up.
okay, yeah, I mean, I would think so, but you did your homework. But yeah, no, it's gonna be a lot of fun. And then next Wednesday, looking forward to Nichols coming to
Yeah.
town. We'll see Nichols and actually KCR Teagues, former Rougarou, of course, they're rocking the Rougarou. KCR Teagues, who led the Rougarou in hitting last year, is their starting left fielder, and we're going to be getting our rings next week. So presenting KCR Teagues a ring before the game on Wednesday. So looking forward to that.
All right, sounds good. And of course, we got Sports Shorts Radio tomorrow from the Walk-Ons in Brewley. We'll be out there, Hunter McCann, you and I, Joel Davis, the whole gang. We'll get you talking about LSU baseball today and what's going on tomorrow, and all that good stuff. So it's going to be a fun weekend. By the way, Ronnie, this is the first this, tonight, Friday night. There's not another Friday without Major League Baseball on TV until October.
Wow.
So, because they'll put exhibition games on next week.
So Tommy, I got a story for you from Overland Park, Kansas. So, I go up there. I fly up on Wednesday. Had a reception Wednesday night at the museum at the home of the museum for the College Baseball Hall of Fame, which is in Overland Park. They haven't broke the museum exists. They're going to have this giant hall, this giant wing. They've got all the designs. They haven't broke ground on it. They're supposed to break ground on it as far as building out that area sometime later this spring. It's going to be a phase one of 3 phases, $7 million first phase kind of installment. But anyway, so the idea is that the Skip Bertman Award was going to go to Brad Neffendorf. They're going to bring him up on stage. Myself, Lori Bertman, would be on stage. Hey,
Don't forget Sports Shorts Radio tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, Lake Charles, through the ESPN platform. We'll be at the Walk-Ons in Brewley. Continue
you got
with
me
you and
back?
Lori. Yeah, Lori getting ready to be
Okay.
on stage.
All right. So the plan and the idea is that I'm going to be on stage, for the Skip Bertman Award with Lori Bertman and myself, and they're going to introduce me, and then Brad Neffendorf comes up, shake his hand, give him the award, take the picture, the whole 9 yards. So the rehearsal, they've got it in the script, they've got the teleprompter, the whole 9 yards. They're ready to go. Well, I thought when I was like 20 something years old and my minor league baseball games were done, seat years were done, that was the last time that I got hooked, and for the bullpen. They made a call to the bullpen and took me out of the game. Nope, happened last night. So
What?
Lori Bertman comes up to me right before the start of the event and goes, "Hey, Ronnie, listen, I didn't know Ben McDonald was going to be here introducing Scott Boras, and he's a college baseball Hall of Famer. So, you understand, right? I'm going to have him come up on stage to present the Skip Bertman Award. You can do next year." Yeah, sure, no problem. Team player. I got hooked,
I
coach. They
don't
made a
think I
call
don't
to the
think you had a
bullpen.
choice.
They made they made a call to the bullpen, brought in a reliever. I was just warming up. I didn't even get in the game, coach. But I mean, hey, I had a nice chicken dinner. I enjoyed meeting a lot of folks. Got a chance to see how other foundations and Hall of Fames do it, so that I can hopefully make the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame even better. But yeah, that was I got pulled for Ben McDonald. Yeah.
Well, you got pulled for a pretty good one, okay? He
Yeah.
wasn't too bad on the bump, okay? You got a guy pulled for me, you might have been more upset, but anyway. So no, that you got hooked at the last minute. That's hey, live entertainment has changes, right?
Yeah, thank you, Lori. Hey, by the way, Paul Gillier, or Gilly as people will call him in the umpire world, Gillier is how you say his name, but was actually on the flight with him on the way up and his wife, and had a chance to visit with him a good bit. What a great guy. Obviously, you know that being a former teammate of his. And what an amazing career. I mean, he's like the Don of umpires now in college baseball. He's over many conferences. He's assignment secretary for a bunch of leagues. And of course, you know, he is the guy with the SEC, and just an awesome fella. Enjoyed visiting with him.
He did get assigned to Omaha 4 times. You know, umpires, college basketball referees want to get to the Final Four or Omaha, and he was crew chief in his fourth and final assignment in Omaha. So, like I say, played a little first base when I was out there pitching for the Lions, and we've been friends ever since. And I did text him and congratulate him last week when I became aware. And there was a nice article about him on CrescentCitySports.com about how he played at East Jefferson, and then he began umpiring a little league program and this, that, and the other. It was a nice. And they mentioned that he played at Southeastern in '82. So it was. If you want to go look that up on Paul Gilly, nice article on CrescentCitySports.com. That tells you a nice story about Paul.
All right, TK, tell us about Tremonti's as we get out of here.
Well, they got everything ready for Valentine's weekend. They're going to have boiled crawfish available at 3 o'clock tomorrow. But if you want live, you're trying to boil some sacks for the wife, the mother, whatever it might be, you got to reserve the live crawfish because they're going to run out. If you call and reserve them, they'll have them for you. If you walk in here Saturday afternoon, the chances are you won't get any. So do that. Boiled crawfish at 3 o'clock live. You must call to reserve. As we mentioned a couple times, don't forget Sports Shorts Radio tomorrow morning. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, Lake Charles. We'll talk all about LSU baseball, LSU basketball, the major leagues, the PGA Tour, you name it. On behalf of Ronnie Rantz, I'm Tommy Krysan. Have a wonderful Friday the 13th, everyone.